Have you ever noticed something confusing about women? Everything feels perfect. She laughs at your jokes. She texts you first. She seems excited every time she sees you. And then suddenly, she becomes distant. Her replies slow down. She seems quieter, less expressive, almost like she's pulling away. And that's when most men make the biggest mistake. They assume she's losing interest. But psychology reveals something very different. In many cases, when a woman suddenly becomes distant, it's not because she feels less. It's because she's starting to feel more. And those emotions can be overwhelming. Welcome back to Magnetic Desire, my channel. I'm Jessica. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating piece of female psychology that most men completely misunderstand. Why girls suddenly become distant when they start catching real feelings. And once you understand what's really happening inside her mind, you'll stop panicking when she pulls away and start responding in a way that actually makes her feel even more drawn to you. Because the truth is, distance doesn't always mean rejection. Sometimes, distance is the moment her emotions become real. Let's start with the first psychological reason. One of the biggest reasons women become distant when feelings start growing is emotional self-protection. When a woman first meets a man she likes, everything feels light and exciting. There's flirting, playful conversations, curiosity. At that stage, emotions are still safe. She can enjoy the attention without feeling vulnerable. But the moment she realizes she actually cares about you, something changes internally. Now there's risk. If she opens her heart and you pull away, it will hurt. And women are very aware of emotional risk, much more aware than most men realize. So instead of diving deeper immediately, many women instinctively take a step back. This distance gives her time to evaluate her feelings. She's asking herself questions like, is he serious? Does he really like me? Can I trust him? Is this safe for my heart? From the outside, it looks like she's losing interest, but inside, she's doing emotional risk management. Another powerful psychological reason is the fear of appearing too available. Attraction psychology shows that women are often careful about how quickly they show strong interest. If she suddenly feels deeply attracted to you, her instinct might actually be to slow down. Why? Because she doesn't want to look like she's chasing you. Many women grow up hearing advice like, don't show all your feelings too quickly, or make sure he values you. Whether consciously or subconsciously, those beliefs influence how she behaves. So when her feelings increase, she sometimes pulls back slightly to maintain emotional balance. It's not a game. It's a way of protecting her value in the dynamic. She wants to know that you're choosing her too. Another reason distance appears is emotional overwhelm. Attraction triggers powerful chemicals in the brain: dopamine, oxytocin, adrenaline. These create excitement, anticipation, and emotional intensity. But when those feelings grow stronger, they can actually feel overwhelming. Imagine suddenly realizing that someone has the power to affect your mood, your thoughts, even your daily happiness. That realization can be exciting, but also intimidating. So a woman may take emotional space simply to regain balance. It's like her mind saying, okay, slow down for a moment. Let me process this. And during that processing phase, she might text less. She might seem quieter. She might observe more than she speaks. But that silence is often reflection, not rejection. Another important factor is the desire to test emotional consistency. Women often observe how a man behaves when the dynamic changes. If she becomes slightly distant, what does he do? Does he panic? Does he become needy? Does he chase aggressively and lose his confidence? Or does he stay calm, grounded, and emotionally stable? This moment tells her a lot about your character. A man who stays relaxed and continues living his life sends a powerful signal of confidence, and confidence is deeply attractive. But a man who immediately floods her with messages, questions, and pressure can unintentionally create the opposite effect. Suddenly, the emotional energy feels heavy instead of exciting. This is why emotional composure is one of the most powerful qualities a man can show during moments of distance. Now let's talk about another psychological layer that many people overlook: vulnerability. When feelings grow stronger, vulnerability grows with them. A woman who barely knows you can flirt easily. She can joke, tease, and keep things playful. But when she actually starts caring about your opinion, your attention, your approval, suddenly every interaction carries more emotional weight. She begins wondering things like, does he still find me interesting? Does he like me as much as I like him? Am I showing too much? And because vulnerability can feel uncomfortable, many women instinctively protect themselves by creating temporary emotional space. This space helps them regain confidence and emotional control. There's also something called emotional pacing. In healthy attraction, emotions rarely grow at exactly the same speed for both people. Sometimes one person starts feeling more deeply first. When that happens, the person experiencing stronger feelings may slow down the interaction to allow emotional balance to catch up. It's like adjusting the speed of a conversation so both people stay comfortable. For women, pacing often means stepping back slightly when emotions start accelerating too fast. And here's something very important that most men don't realize. Distance can actually be a sign that you matter more than she expected. When you're just a casual conversation or a mild interest, there's no reason for emotional caution. But when she starts imagining you as someone who could actually impact her life, her behavior naturally becomes more careful. That care often looks like distance. Now let's talk about the biggest mistake men make during this phase. They chase reassurance. The moment she becomes quieter, they send multiple messages. They ask what's wrong. They analyze every response. They try harder and harder to pull her attention back. Ironically, that pressure often creates the very distance they fear. Because when a woman feels emotionally overwhelmed already, adding pressure makes the situation heavier. What actually works better is something much simpler: stability. Continue being the same confident, interesting person she was attracted to in the beginning. Keep your life active, keep your energy positive. Give her space without disappearing completely. That balance shows emotional maturity. And emotional maturity is incredibly attractive. Another fascinating psychological factor is curiosity. Attraction grows when curiosity remains alive. If a woman senses that you're emotionally dependent on constant attention from her, mystery disappears. But when you remain calm, independent, and slightly unpredictable, curiosity stays alive. She starts wondering what you're doing, who you're with, what you're thinking, and curiosity naturally pulls people closer. So sometimes the best response to distance isn't chasing, it's allowing her space to rediscover her curiosity about you. Let's also talk about something called emotional contrast. Human emotions become stronger when there is contrast between connection and space. If someone is constantly available every second, the emotional intensity often flattens. But small moments of distance can actually increase attraction because they create contrast. Reunion after distance feels more exciting, conversations feel more meaningful, and emotions feel stronger. This is why relationships that have healthy breathing space often feel more passionate over time. Now, here's something interesting. Many women won't even realize they're creating this distance consciously. It's not always a strategy. It's simply emotional instinct. Their mind is trying to balance excitement, vulnerability, curiosity, and safety all at the same time. And distance becomes the natural result of that internal balancing process. So when you see that shift, instead of assuming the worst, try to see it as information. She's processing something. Your response to that moment can either build attraction or quietly weaken it. The men who handle this moment well share 3 key behaviors. First, they remain emotionally calm. They don't panic when communication slows. Second, they maintain their independence. Their life continues to move forward with or without constant validation. And third, They respond warmly when she reconnects, without bringing up accusations or pressure. This combination creates emotional safety. And emotional safety allows attraction to grow. Because when a woman feels that she can step back for a moment and return without drama, she feels more comfortable letting her feelings deepen. Now, here's the paradox. The less you chase during this phase, the more space she has to move closer on her own. Attraction often grows strongest when it feels like a choice, not an obligation. So if she becomes a little distant after things felt intense, don't immediately assume something is wrong. Sometimes that distance is simply the moment when feelings stop being casual and start becoming real. And when you understand that psychology, you stop reacting with fear. You start responding with confidence. And confidence changes everything. Because in the end, attraction isn't built by forcing connection. It's built by creating a space where connection naturally wants to return. And often, when a woman pulls away slightly after catching feelings, she isn't closing the door. She's just stepping back to see if the connection is strong enough to pull her right back in. If you found this insight helpful, make sure you stay with us here on Magnetic Desire for more deep dives into attraction psychology, emotional dynamics, and the hidden patterns that shape relationships. I'm Jessica, and I'll see you in the next video.